guys, welcome back to Casey's Kitchen here at Boots and Bounty Homestead. So I want to bring you along as we fix some cast iron skillet baked chicken, and I'm doing a rice pilaf, and then we're going to do some of our baby new potatoes and green beans. The chicken and the rice pilaf both take almost an hour to cook, so we're going to go ahead and get started. I do have my cast iron skillet right here on the eye because the oven is on and I'm heating up the cast iron skillet, and I'll go through that recipe with you in just a second. And then I've got a pot back here on the back eye that has a little bit of olive oil in it, and that's going to be for the rice pilaf. So let's start by getting the rice pilaf going, and then that way we can get our chicken ready and get it in the oven. So what we're using for our rice pilaf is, I'm going to use wild rice because it is healthier for you. And then I've got some humongous carrots from my dad's garden that we're going to throw in it. Okay, so to get started, we've got our pot back here that we have drizzled a little bit of oil in, and we're going to turn that on medium to start getting that heated up. And I'm going to go ahead and chop up an onion as well as the carrots. Alright, let's get that started. Okay, so I've got a white onion here that we're just going to dice up. There's so many different ways that you can cut an onion. You just do it however you want to. And this is a smaller onion. We don't like a whole lot of onion. Save that to put in your chicken stock. And I've got just a little bit of oil in my skillet here. And I'm going to turn this on. On my stove, I'm going to do medium high. And I'm going to dice up these onions. We like them very fine because we don't like to actually taste them a whole lot in there. This is more of like a filler for us. This onion just wants to slide every which way. Alright. I'll take all these onions and go ahead and put them in here. That's like one medium onion. And we're going to saute these until they get translucent. I got Logan back here that's going to help me. So I'm going to get him to measure out the rice. Okay, so for the wild rice, I got Logan to do it for me. This is the Lundberg wild rice blend. 1.5 cups. So go ahead and measure that out and pour it in the bowl, because we don't need it just yet, but he wants to help. Yeah. One whole one and then a half one. You're on one. Don't do it. Don't do it. Hold on. All the way full. Hold it over slow. Now do a half one. Okay. Okay, so we've got 1.5 cups of wild rice. Okay, hang on to that. Now you can put celery if you want to in the onions while they are sauteing. And I also need to get diced up a 1/2 cup of carrots. Alright, let me wash these off. Stir the onions for me. You can dice the carrots up however you want. The smaller they are, the quicker they're going to cook with the onions. Save those for my stock. I don't have any celery, but you can also use celery seed in the place of it, just for the flavor. And that's what I do a lot of times, because I don't grow celery and we don't eat it, so if we can help it. We don't like just readily eating celery.
I tried it at school once. I shoved the whole thing in my mouth and I about puked. Normally they only have carrots and strawberries, but the carrots normally have ranch. So whenever we have like chicken nuggets or chicken tenders, I don't get carrots and I get the ranch. And they're like, you have to get carrots or celery. I got the celery. I don't puke. It was nasty.
Alright, we got the carrots and onions in here. Got your sauteing, looking good. Alright, so now we're also going to pour the rice into this pot here. Go ahead and pour it in there. Okay. This is kind of like a rice-a-roni, where you cook it for just a little bit. Can you go in there and get some chicken broth? In the pantry. Okay, so we also need chicken stock for this. And we need to measure out 2 2/3 cup of chicken broth. Our handy dandy jar opener. You gonna measure this out too? Okay, I need 2 of those cups. Put it over there. Here. Pour it in there. Okay. Dump it. Yeah, dump it. Dump it in there. Yep. That's 1. Okay. 2. I need 2/3.
That.
That much. Put it in there. Alright, so we've got our oven preheating. Now for the chicken, it's going to cook at 450 degrees for 10 to 15 minutes, and then we turn it down to 350. And we need to go ahead and put our skillet in the oven. I had it on my eye. Now my eye is one of those where the heat comes out of the back. So I've had my skillet on top of it. And you want to coat the bottom with just a little bit of extra oil, other than what you seasoned with. Maybe a tablespoon of grease or oil or something like that. Because whenever we put the chicken in it, once we heat this up in the oven, once we put the chicken in it, we need to sear it as we are sticking it in the oven. Okay, so go ahead, we're going to put this in the oven and let it heat up with that. Alright, our rice pilaf looks like it's good. So this is what it looks like so far. Okay. Now we are going to go ahead and pour in our chicken broth. stir it up. And you can put whatever herbs you want to put in here. I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of rosemary and thyme. I love to smell my hands after I mess with herbs. And these are our freshly grown herbs that Emma did from last year. I've harvested them this year. Okay, so we got this. We're going to stir this up and let it come back to a boil because it's got to heat the chicken up, the chicken broth up. And then it's going to cook for 45 minutes. Now, let's go ahead and start on our chicken. Alright, tonight I'm going to be using leg quarters. I usually do this with a whole chicken breast. And what you can do with that also is cut it down the backbone, split it open and pop it so it'll lay flat and it won't take as long. It'll take 45 minutes to cook instead of an hour. These are going to take almost an hour. I'm going to start testing them at 45 minutes and see how we're doing. Now with this, you can oil them, herb them, season them however you want to. I'm going to do a little bit of rosemary and thyme to match the rice pilaf that we're having. You can also put a little lemon on it. And what I like to do is I like to get cold pads of butter and slide under the skin. I do this also on my big chicken. And you'll do this the same way, whether you want to do the leg quarters or you want to do a whole chicken. Just remember, the whole chicken, if you don't split it, it takes an hour to cook. So let me get the butter. I'm going to cut it and I'm going to slide the pads of butter under the skin and I'll show you what that looks like. Alright, our rice is coming to a simmer, so I'm going to go ahead and get my top to put on it. And I'm going to put it on medium on my stove. You just need to have it at a low simmer. Okay. Now we've got our cold butter here. And I didn't put it directly on the stove like I do everything else because the stove is really hot right now. With that oven being on 450. Okay, so you just want to take a thin slice of butter. See if it'll focus on it. Focus on my hand. Thin slice of butter. And it's going to go underneath the skin here. This works better with the whole chicken. You just pick the skin up, slide it in there. Okay? I'm going to do that one for the thigh. And then one for the leg section. And if the skin is attached, all you got to do is run your fingers under there and just pull it right out. I'm going to do this for all. I've got 4 leg quarters tonight. That's going to go in my big 14-inch skillet. Now if you're not going to use this butter for all the butter for this chicken, make sure you cut some off beforehand so you not grow any coli or anything like that. Don't want to make anybody sick. Alright, so I've got all my butter inside the chicken. And you can also do this with your herbs as well. Put your herbs on the inside and outside if you want. I'm going to stick a few under here. Okay. Now the chicken is ready. Let me wash my hands and then we'll put it in the skillet. Alright, it is smoking hot. Smoking hot. Okay, we'll let that cool off just a couple of seconds because it is actually smoking. Let that cool off just a second because I don't want it to scorch the chicken. I want it to sear it. Now if you're using a whole chicken breast, you want to put it, like you can put it on the breast side for just a couple minutes right after you take it out. Flip it over and make it lay on the backbone, not the breastbone. That's how it will cook in the oven. So for these legs and thighs, I'll put you guys back up here. There we go. Restart. Okay, so for these legs and thighs, we are going to do the meat side up as well, just like we do the chicken. So whenever you go to put it down, you're going to put the skin side down first. It's going to sear for just a second. And then we'll flip it over. Okay. Stay right there with me. You can brown it a little bit more if you want to, but that's about all I want to do it because it's going to get really brown in the oven. I got ready for one more. Let's see if we can touch it for a second. And I'm pushing down on it. Okay. And then flip it over. Alrighty. We are going to stick this back in the oven at 450 for 10 to 15 minutes. You need to watch it to make sure it's not burning the skin. So 10 to 15 minutes in the oven. And after the 10 to 15 minutes, you're going to turn it down to 350 and then cook it the remaining part of the time. So if you're doing this, we're going to do it for 45 minutes. If you're doing the split chicken, whole chicken, cut in half, popped open, that's going to be 45 minutes. And then if you're doing a whole chicken all together, that's going to be an hour. So take the 10 to 15 minutes off of it and then cook the remaining time on 350. Our rice pilaf back here, I turned down just a little bit. It's doing good. Trying to clean up as I go. Okay, so those are doing good. It's actually still a little too high. I'm going to turn it down some more. Alright, so our next dish. You get nothing here tonight. Triple recipe. We got the rice pilaf, we got the chicken, and now we're going to do a side of the green beans with our new potatoes. I'm not going to do anything fancy with these. I am going to go ahead and cook them in a cast iron skillet and just let them cook on low for just a little bit. So let me go get my other cast iron skillet real quick. Alright, here's my number 2. Looks like somebody didn't grease it before they put it up. That's okay. Not going to hurt a thing. Alright, let's put it on medium high, and you can come down here and see what I'm doing. Maybe. Alright, so I got this on medium high. I'm going to use some of our homemade lard to put in the bottom. Now, cast iron, you always want to go ahead and let it heat up and melt the lard or butter, whatever you're using, in it before you put any of the vegetables in or meat in, because it will stick. So we've got our new baby potatoes. So we've got these that are ready to use, and we've got our Cherokee yellow green beans or Cherokee yellow wax beans that we're going to use in this recipe as well. I got to snap the ends off the beans while this is warming up. Make sure it gets the grease all the way around. Alright, that'll continue to melt. So I've got a few beans here I'm going to go ahead and put in. Let those be warming up. Now, we do not like crunchy beans. We actually prefer beans that have been pressure canned, that are mushy, as some people say. So I am really going to cook these to death, okay? Just so you know, you've got fair warning. If you don't like them, you know, really, really soft, go ahead and cook your potatoes first. Because that way they They do have to cook or you can't eat them. They'll hurt your teeth. I'm going to coat these with oil real good. Alright, so these are Cherokee wax beans that are out of the stackable planters from Dollar Tree. This is our first cooking. We've almost got half a pound off of them. And if you want to do this recipe by itself, you could season this however you want to, and you could actually stick it in the oven and finish it off in the oven if you want to. But we like our green beans really mushy, so I'm going to go ahead and start cooking them. And then add the potatoes. Now, if you like your green beans crunchy, then you can do your potatoes first. However you want. Alright, so we're going to stir these around, get them coated with oil real good. And you can also put a little lemon or lime or whatever you want to in here. I'm going to turn this down on medium because my pan is getting hot. Go ahead and season it with salt and pepper. Whatever herbs you want to season them with. Go ahead and do that now. You can put a ranch packet in here. You can put an Italian packet in there. Or whatever herbs you want to. You could even make it, you know, a taco mix kind of thing. Whatever you want to do. So I've got these coated well in the oil and the seasoning. So what I'm going to do, because we like ours pretty soft, I'm going to pour a little bit of water in here and then cover it up and let them steam cook. Right, just enough to cover the bottom, probably about a half a cup. And then we're going to cover it with water. Cover it with a lid. And just let them kind of boil / steam cook for a little bit. Probably 20 minutes. We're going to start with 20 minutes. And then we'll come back and check on them. Okay guys, so it's been about 20 minutes since you've seen me, put these in there. The green beans are really tender, so I just wanted to try the potatoes. See, my fork went right in that one. Okay, so these are good. I'm going to take the top off and turn them down on low and just kind of let that water evaporate out of there. And give you an update on the rice pilaf. So here's our rice pilaf. It still has some water. See, it's sitting on top of it right there. Let's see if you can see it. There's still some sitting on top. So it's still got a good few minutes to go. Probably another 15 minutes or so on this. So we're just going to leave it here. Cover it up and let it continue to cook. And a quick peek at the chicken. Looking good. Alright. Green beans and potatoes. Now the water wasn't evaporating out like I wanted it to, so I put it on high just to let that cook out. So I cut that off now. It's just going to sit there and rest for a few minutes. And then our rice pilaf back here. Let's check on it. Alright, looks like all the water is gone out of it. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a fork and I'm going to try just a little bit of it. Looks good. It's really good. Okay, I'm going to cut it off and I'm just going to let it sit there and finish absorbing the rest of whatever water is left in there while the chicken finishes. Chicken's got 10 minutes, so we're doing good on time. See you in a second. It's time to get the chicken out. Oh boy. Check it out. Isn't that picture perfect? Isn't that pretty? And hold the camera still, huh? Let's make us a plate. That is a Father's Day meal fit for a king. Is that not gorgeous? Wow. Oh.
Wow.
That happened.
Right.
Let's go bright. Alright guys, there's you 3 recipes that are absolutely stunning on a plate. We're fixing to go check them out. Still a little warm for us to try them right now. But this is for Stephen's Father's Day. Happy Father's Day.
Thank you.
We will enjoy our meal now, and we will see you guys later. Bye.